Today I want to share something that when I found out and applied for myself, it helped me so much, and through that I began to share with others. And then they expressed that it was useful for them as well. And so I thought maybe this is what we talk today about, which is the realization of the self, who I am, or discovering who I am through heart. And heart is a word that we use a lot, is something that we are somehow familiar with. But through my experience, I realized there's far more depth into it to discover. Just to give an example of that, one of the strongest expressions that we can have towards each other, between people in their relationship, of any relationship, whether brothers and sisters and parents and children, husband and wife, is the sentence, I love you. I love you is a wonderful sentence. We are never tired of hearing it, and we should be also never tired of constantly saying it. And so this is a very powerful thing, very powerful sentence. But now imagine this powerful sentence, we bring this to, if we want to even emphasize that, we want to emphasize this most powerful sense to really make it into a much wider dimension, bigger dimension, larger sphere. What do we say? I love you with all my heart. And now this is the ultimate. You can't go beyond that, no? I love you with all my heart. This is really a wonderful thing, because after that, you have said everything you could say. Is even more than I love you. No? So, then what do we mean when we add this thing, when we want to really emphasize that I really, really, really love you, which with all my heart? It means that I love you with all that I am. Everything. I'm not holding anything back. Every cell of me, every part of me, my whole being and essence loves you. This is an emphasis for that simple sentence, So heart is something that is very valuable, very, very essential. And this is what I want to just explore a little bit, because this was the greatest help in my life. When I realized that there is so much more to the word heart than the normal way we use it. Or also you can say that, you're always in my heart. Not you're always in my mind, not I always remember you. That's also meaning the same, but much deeper level of it, you're always in my heart. And then on the opposite side of it, like you broke my heart.
Exactly, I was thinking that. Mm-hmm.
So every time that we want to go and express something that we can't go any deeper than that, we have to use the word heart. Whether you broke my heart, which is far, far deeper than you disappointed me. And maybe other expressions. And also on the other side of it, like you're always in my heart, or I love you with all my heart. Not with half of my heart or a little bit of my heart, because that's a bad expression. I love you with a little bit of my heart. So let's see what this thing is, this element, this potential that is inside. Of course, there's a physical heart that is a pump for blood and all that, which is such an essential thing. Once that stops, is the end of everything. But then when the expression of heart definitely is not the pump, but is something more essential that we are. And I want to present the idea that we are actually essentially heart. So, and the explanation I had at the beginning, that when we want to really emphasize with what we 100% mean, what I want to express myself 100%, we use the word heart. So heart is very, very basic, very fundamental, very essential of all things. Now, what is heart and how does the heart grows and develops is the important thing. If you look through the development of human beings, we can see that we all go through the same path, basically. Like we all are born, I mean, we conceived and then we're born, and then we go through the period of development at a young age, and then we go through our teenage, and then we marry, we have children, maybe become grandparents and so on, and when we pass, we come into this physical realm and we leave the physical realm. Within this time that's called life, physical life, something is happening. There's a reason and there's a purpose for here. I came to believe 100%, being convinced that the fundamental purpose of this time period is for us to develop this thing inside of us called heart. Just to emphasize that, is that you can be successful and achieving all kinds of things in all different levels, intellectual, financial, social, whatever. But it's not enough. Why is not enough? Because we can see that the most important aspect of any relationship is emotional. It's not financial, even though finance is important. It's not social, it's not political, it's not whatever. But emotional. You can have two superstars with all the wealth and the looks and the social status and everything come together and marry, and that's like a Cinderella marriage or whatever, and then like after a few months they just fall apart. What was missing? The feelings, the emotions that were supposed to be there was not there. So this is just to emphasize that why emotional experiences, emotional relationship are the most important aspects of a relationship. So by that we can come to the point to see that if we develop our hearts, in other words, we're developing ourselves. So the true meaning of self-development is a development of the heart. Because our physical body just grows by itself. We can't even stop it. It just needs to eat and breathe and drink and so on. It grows by itself. But it does not necessarily mean that the heart grows as well. We can grow quite old and then emotionally not grown at all. We can see sometimes people, at the high age, 40, 50, 60 years old, behave like a kindergarten, with the same characteristics, with the same self-centeredness and all that. So this whole thing, just to explain a background for us to go to see how does the heart grow, how can we develop the heart. So as we are born, let me back up one sentence. The other night when we were talking, this point came out very interesting, which was, I use myself as an example, this is better. I was born at a certain time, and I grew in a certain circumstances, and the total of all those experiences that I went through up to now is what I call me. Probably the same true with everybody, Everybody's going through the same. The present moment, or whatever it is that we call me, is the sum total of our experiences. Now look at it this way. If any of the scenarios in the past, situations of the past was different, then this me would be different. A lot of things that happens in the past was not in an ideal way. So this thing that I call me, that could be so many different kind of characteristics, is not really who I am then. Then the question is that, who am I really? No? Who am I?
But in order to do that, you have to somehow realize that the experiences that occur in your life are not you. So there has to be some point of awakening, right? To know that there's a separation, right?
Yeah. Yeah, to come to that point of seeing that as strange as it may sound, I am not me.
That's a deep point. I am not me. Let's think about that.
Or even in a wrong.
I is not me.
Right.
Yeah, in a wrong grammar. I is not me.
Right. Yeah, and that's a very powerful. That's a powerful understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wake up moment for me when I realized that there's a difference between who I am, even though I don't exactly know what that is, than this thing I call me. But then the point that came up with Michael the other night was this, that when I look at the back, then of course some of the things didn't go so ideal and so on, but therefore we came to conclusion that it's best to know what ideal is. For the example that came out was like, if a doctor supposed to heal a sick person to the state of health, the most important thing for a doctor to know is what health is. In other words, he has to know what he or she needs to know the ideal state of human being physically. That's health. So then we can figure out, okay, this is like this, I have to restore it to this position. So from that perspective, we start looking at, okay, what is the ideal? Now I want to explain this ideal through the heart. And this is relatable because I've been talking about this for so many years to so many people, and they instantly realize and relate to regardless of all the external differences that we have, whether nationality, race, color, education, whatever. Because inside we are all the same. We are all one life and we are all one heart. You know, we have so much more similarity than differences. So looking at the ideal pattern, an ideal formula through the heart is this. Imagine that a child is born. Now also remember this is ideal. Because I heard this thing people saying, oh, but this didn't happen to anybody. Yeah, that's true. It didn't happen to me either. But this is that state of health kind of thing. When a child is born, the most essential thing that a child needs is receiving emotional nourishment from parents. This is very crucial for both father and mother to be able to truly give love and attention and care to the child. Now, this is not just to take care of the child. This does something to the being of the child. Because through the previous points that we brought up is that our very being, our very essence is this element called heart. And then heart is where love comes from. Heart is where all the virtues come from. And amazing enough, heart at the beginning needs to be nourished by love in order later on to be able to give love. So at this beginning point, which is like when we are all infants and just born, most crucial nourishment that we need to receive, besides just the physical care, is an emotional nourishment, which is this energy called love that comes from the parents. And ideally speaking, from parents who actually are capable of unconditionally loving. Now, I didn't go through the situation like that by no one's fault. Not my parents' fault, not even their faults and their faults, and as far as we want to go back. Nobody is guilty here. It's just the way it happened, you know. And we want to see if we can change the course. So, if that happens in that childhood time, then the energy of love fills up a portion within that being, with that child, that is so essential because it's almost like a root, it's like a foundation. And I dare to say is the most important part of the heart, because it's literally a foundation. Even though it's in a child that we sometimes don't seem to be able to look at as an 100% dignified being with the total respect that we so-called give to the adults. You know, unfortunately we don't treat the children with the same respect and dignity and honor as the adults, but we should.